Up next, we have an infamous read, one that sits on many disturbing books lists. The Wasp Factory, a novel by Iain Banks, who I believe is from Scotland. Right? And so it's a very interesting Scottish novel. And I'm going to stop doing the accent. I promise. I'm not going to read the whole thing like this. But I could. This is chapter 1, The Sacrifice Poles. I had been making the rounds of the sacrifice poles the day we heard my brother had escaped. I already knew something was going to happen. The factory told me. At the north end of the island, near the tumbled remains of the slip where the handle of the rusty winch still creaks in an easterly wind, I had 2 poles on the far face of the last dune. One of the poles held a rat head with 2 dragonflies, the other a seagull and 2 mice. I was just sticking one of the mouse heads back on when the birds went up into the evening air, caw-calling and screaming, wheeling over the path through the dunes where it went near their nests. I made sure the head was secure, then clambered to the top of the dune to watch with my binoculars. Diggs, the policeman from the town, was coming down the path on his bike, pedaling hard. His head down as the wheels sank partway into the sandy surface. He got off the bike at the bridge and left it propped against the suspension cables. And it trails off from there. We start on this first page with some mystery and some brooding. And I guess now I have to make my confession. Guys, I read into this one. I continued reading it past the first page. And I gotta say, this is not a bad first page. It gives you just enough mystery to wonder what the heck is happening, what's going on, what on earth is a sacrifice pole. And yeah, I kept reading. And, maybe I should give this a full stack review at a certain point. But, I think as a first page, it's great. It's one of the better ones. But the first page, I think, is deceiving. Because this book, oh man, this one's lame. I didn't like it at all. I know a lot of people like it. Some people, it's got this nostalgic quality to it. Some people read it growing up and things like that. And it's quite a brutal book. But I'll just cut to the short of it. In this book, you're going to get a lot of animal cruelty. You're going to get a lot of just sort of violence. You get our main character here being psychopathic, and there's a lot of dead animals happening around here. Now, I don't necessarily mind that just on its own because, I've seen some stuff, all right? Not that big of a deal. I know some people are especially hurt by animals dying in books and things like that in movies. That didn't really bother me so much. It's just the fact that it just continues. It just keeps going, and it seems like there's no real rhyme or reason. There's just so much. Wow, it's like, man, the animals are really having a bad time in this book. I gotta say, they're having a real bad time, and it seems there's not much reason to it. This novel is almost plotless, and the ending, well, let's just say at a certain point I sort of gave up and just skipped to the end on this one, which I will do so without shame. If I am not enjoying a book, I will just put it down and I will not finish it, or I will just skip to the end. And maybe if the ending compels me, I will go back to where I left off and read the rest of it. But yeah, no, I thought this one was extremely lame. So for what it's worth, The Wasp Factory by Iain Banks. You might like it. I don't know. Maybe there's something about this book. It's kind of the same thing I didn't like about The Catcher in the Rye. I almost want to like the conversational narrative sort of thing happening, but it's kind of just like at a certain point, it's like, why? Like, what is the point of any of this? What is the story? What is the conflict, actually? Because The first page might not be as much of an indication, but there's not a whole lot of conflict going on here. We're mostly just getting a lot of like, and then I blew up the rabbits, and the rabbits were on fire, and then I stuffed some dynamite down his mouth, and I blew it up, and it was like, wow, that was so amazing. And then, by the way, I killed my friend, and nobody knew about it, and I got away with it. So, yeah, you're gonna get that. I don't know. The Wasp Factory. Let me know if you read it, or if you want to actually try it on for size yourself, or if you don't want to read it. Whatever you thought about it, let me know. And if there are other books that you would like me to cover, let me know too, because as I've said before, all the people in the world, we're all together in this hunt for quality literature, and we could always use some more. So I'd be happy to hear your suggestions.